From Preston, Phil Edwards. From Birmingham, Terry O'Connor. And from Leeds, Dave Paris. Introducing our third man to the ring, the referee in charge. He will be giving instructions after the introductions, Steve Gray. All right, fans, here we go with the long-awaited, much-anticipated main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Middleweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance, enthusiasts tuning in across the British Isles on Box Nation, and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Manchester, England, it's showtime! Introducing to you first, the challenger. On my right, he is fighting out of the blue corner, wearing white trunks with blue trim, hailing from Hatfield, England. He weighed in at 11 stone, 6 pounds, right at the limit of 160 US pounds. A 2008 Olympian, he is undefeated in his campaign to the professional ranks with a record of 22 wins and no losses, 12 wins coming by way of knockout. He has captured the British, the Commonwealth, and the European middleweight crowns, and tonight, making his first attempt at a world title, please welcome the undefeated WBO #1 ranked middleweight in the world, introducing Billy Joe Saunders. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my left, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red trunks with gold trim, hailing from and representing Limerick, Ireland. His weight, 11 stone, 5 pounds, 12 ounces, or 159 3/4 US pounds. A 2004 Olympian, his professional record stands at 34 wins, 2 losses, 1 draw, with 24 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making the first defense of his title, please welcome the hard-hitting, the popular, and the reigning WBO middleweight champion of the world, Irish Andy. And once again, a referee in charge. Now to give instructions, Steve Gray.
Okay, boys, if a call break, you must take one step back. Don't let any of your punches come on the back of the head. And most importantly, protect yourselves at all times. Touch gloves. Good luck, lads.
Talking over, and it could be a great fight in prospect. Sitting at ringside, Nazim Hamed, former WBO featherweight champion. 18 years ago to the day, he beat Kevin Kelly at Madison Square Garden. And 18 years ago to the day, my co-commentator Barry Jones became WBO super featherweight champion of the world, defeating Wilson Palacio. Barry, this could be a special fight.
I'm expecting just a tremendous fight. We've been looking for this since it's been announced and postponed and announced, postponed. It's finally happening, and I think it's going to be a mini classic.
Could be a lot more than just puncher against boxer. As you see physically, Andy Lee, significantly the bigger man, huge for a middleweight, stands some 6'2". Billy Joe Saunders, a slick mover, very talented boxer. Andy Lee, power in both hands. He says he has a God-given right hand, and I tell you what, he's got a lot of support in this arena.
And Andy Lee also a better boxer than what anyone gives him credit for. Though, in this scenario, obviously Billy Joe is the master boxer. You know, he's so skillful, is Billy Joe. They're both obviously going to be very tentative in the early rounds.
It'll be interesting to see who takes the initial advantage. Lee has the reach advantage by a good 2 or 3 inches. Saunders maybe has more speed, like that left hand, only a glancing blow.
It's all about discipline for Billy Joe Saunders. Not to overreach with a shot, keep that boxing together. Don't decide to want to trade with Andy Lee. And for Lee, he's got to use all of that experience that he has, put pressure on as the fight goes on, put pressure on Billy Joe, make him work harder than he wants to.
Lee has been preparing here in the UK. Billy Joe Saunders spent some 6 or 7 weeks of his preparation time over in Spain. Very experienced corners, both of them, and a quiet opening to this fight. Tentative. Good fast hands from Lee.
Again, but just like Billy Joe's left hand, just a glancing blow again. Both landing with jabs as well.
Little between them in this opening stanza.
Neither person wants to make a mistake. That's why no one's taking the initiative yet. No one wants to get punished for making that mistake.
And a lot of respect between these two in the build-up. No trash talking. Oh, a lovely uppercut from Billy Joe Saunders. Cracking right hand. Probably the punch of the round. Maybe the only meaningful punch of the round.
So his reflexes are so fast, Billy Joe Saunders. Just a tiny little mistake from Andy Lee and Billy makes him pay. And that being the only real significant punch of the round, you have to give that round to Billy Joe Saunders.
So a good start from Billy Joe Saunders. Maybe that one big shot maybe did enough to win him the round. 3 British judges here. This second defence of the title for Andy Lee. One a spectacular win against Matt Koroboff, and then defended against Peter Quillen. Got a draw there after twice being down. Had Quillen down. And here looking to hang on to the title. So long trained, and a mentor was Emmanuel Stewart with Andy Lee. Now with Adam Booth, Billy Joe Saunders throughout his career with Jimmy and Mark Tibbs. Again, tentative and respectful in this second round.
Well, look what happened the last round. Just one little mistake from Andy Lee, and it wasn't a big mistake, just dipping too far over to his left, and he had to pay for it. Good body shot there from Billy Joe. Again, I think it looks like at the moment it's going to be down to who makes the little mistakes rather than who takes the initiative just yet.
Saunders can be a sharp puncher. Remember that 2-round blowout of the highly rated Australian Jared Fletcher,
who went on to do better things after Billy beat him, let's be honest. Good from Andy Lee there, left hand.
Saunders, who has the previous record of having faded a little in the closing stages of fights, and those who support Andy Lee in this one believe that their man will be the stronger the further it goes. There's a good left hand from Lee, maybe his best punch so far. Back comes Saunders. Saunders has said he'll simply be too busy for Andy Lee. Andy Lee says, how do I lose? There's no way I can lose. Whatever happens, sooner or later, I'll get to him.
Well, Andy Lee was saying that Billy starts fast, he starts slow and finishes fast, so they're going to meet somewhere in the middle. But it's been a more controlled from both. No one wanted to take any risks as yet.
Best win on Saunders' career might have been his points victory back end of last year against Chris Eubank Jr. On that occasion, he absolutely dominated the early stages. Good right-hand lead from Saunders right on the bell. And again, the smile from Andy Lee. Close round. Big figure in the British boxing world since back in the 60s. Hugely respected. Hard to believe he's closing in not too far off his 70th birthday. Still a very fit man. Nice right-hand lead from Billy Joe Saunders. Two southpaws, of course. Interesting fight, and you suspect that this is kind of the peace before the storm.
Yeah, there was nothing in it, is it? Literally, there was one punch in it in the first round, and in the second round could have gone either way, or more likely a draw. I just slightly favoured Lee in what was almost a nothing round again. Both so tentative, not wanting to make one mistake, not wanting to be punished for that. Good jab there from Lee.
Both of them tried to throw simultaneously, didn't they? And Lee with the reach advantage through the... Oh, that's a great shot from Lee. Big left hand.
Saunders took it well, though. It didn't dip his legs, he dipped his legs himself just to stay low below any onslaught. So that was a good reaction from Billy Joe. You know, he got caught by a good left hand from Lee.
Lee looking composed, concentration etched across his features.
He needs to throw some feints there, Billy Joe. Some big obvious feints as well, just trying to draw that left hand of Lee. Lee are trying to lower that big punch, and then he can catch him in no man's land. And for Lee, I think he needs to double jab his way in.
Oh, great right hand! Great right hand from Saunders. Whoa, what a punch!
5, 6, 7.
Lee's famed powers of recuperation are being called into question now. How well's he recovered? Saunders is going looking for him. Can he finish it here in the third? Good shot from Lee. Holding on, trying to buy some seconds. Down again. Second knockout. Right hand again.
5, 6.
Saunders thinks he's got him, thinks it's all over. One more punch and he may be right.
Got to be smart here now, Billy Joe Saunders.
40 seconds to go in this third round.
Oh, great shot.
And Lee fighting on instinct, big right uppercut.
He's been caught again there, Andy Lee.
Animal instinct from Lee. And Saunders is trying to take him out again. Still he's on unsteady legs, Andy Lee, down twice in this dramatic third round. The clock is ticking down. Is he going to survive to the bell? Grabbing on, grim desperation. Oh, what about that? It was on a slow burner. And then Billy Joe Saunders exploded and Andy Lee down twice.
Unbelievable action there. A lovely hook. Yeah, look at that, just rolls under the left hand there. Billy Joe Saunders comes back with a lovely left hook. Or right hook, I should say, on the southpaw stance, and Lee was out. But how many times we've seen Lee be out on the floor, look like he's out, and come back? But again, Billy Joe with an educated assault.
So that would be a massive 10-7 round for Billy Joe Saunders. Andy Lee has been down and come back before. He was down twice against Peter Quillen in the first round and the third round, came back for the draw, but the champion here is under huge pressure.
I know it sounds strange, but you know, Andy Lee's been hurt and he might not be fully recovered, but he can't do that boxing match anymore. He can't do that weight, trying to wait for the spots. He got to go and put it on at Billy Joe Saunders now, which might just play into Billy's hands, because then he can use them beautiful feet footwork he has, those good boxing skills.
Andy Lee will try to show why he has this big puncher's reputation, because if ever he needs some bombs, he needs them now.
The first knockdown was tremendous, though, really was, and Andy done really well to get up. Was sensible, he stayed down till 9 as well, took the full count, almost a full count, and got up.
Used to fighting southpaws, Andy Lee. He's fought 3 of them in his last 6 fights, but goodness me, he was caught absolutely fair and square by a couple of terrific right hands from Saunders.
Well, the movement from Saunders, just rolling under the left hand of Andy Lee, coming back with the right hook, was just beautiful. Really schooled work. You know, Billy Joe just taking his time, trying to look for the big opening again.
Jimmy and Mark Tibbs have both said that this is probably the first time that they've come away from a training camp feeling that Billy Joe Saunders has absolutely got everything right. But there's a decent left hand from Lee. He'll be dangerous, so dangerous, as long as he's there. Been there, done it.
Having a good round so far, Andy Lee, only because Billy Joe hasn't decided to throw any punches as yet.
Lee looking for that big right hand. Saunders just measuring him, just waiting and waiting.
I don't think Billy Joe should have jumped on him, because obviously he knows that how dangerous Lee is if you rush forward, but I think he should have been a little bit more pressure on Andy Lee.
Not been proactive in any sense. He's yet to throw a meaningful shot in this round, Saunders. Saunders, the boxer, is so far ahead in this fight because Saunders also a puncher.
Good jab there from Lee.
Lee's winning this round.
Almost, and I've got to be honest, he's boxing quite well after being put down twice, but it's almost by default. Billy Joe the first time out trying to throw some jabs.
Very little from Saunders, and they'll have to tell him he's got to work harder than that. That's definitely a Lee round. To Billy Joe Saunders, maintain your concentration. On Murray Jones' scorecard, because of that 10-7 third round, has Billy Joe Saunders 2 rounds ahead, 2 points ahead.
But he just surrendered that last round, didn't he, Billy Joe? And
Precious little, did he?
Yeah, and I think it was right not to good right hand there from left hand, I should say, from the southpaw stance from Andy Lee. He was right not to rush at Andy Lee, because he is dangerous when he's hurt. But he should, I think he just let that round go by and give Andy Lee enough time to maybe recover. Or maybe because he knows he can hurt him, John, that he just buys in his time for another opening like presented itself the last time.
He surely has recovered now, Lee. Boxed his way through that last round really effectively, keeping it long, scoring behind his jab. Missed by a distance, left hand telegraphed it.
That's the good footwork of Billy Joe Saunders. He's good judgment of the distance, just sliding out of the way of that long left hand, I should say, of Andy Lee. Good jab there from Billy Joe.
It's a good jab from Lee. Nothing between them when we have these quiet periods of standoff. Oh, good shot again from Billy Joe Saunders, but this time Lee takes it well. He landed flush with that left hand.
But it's the footwork there. He gets himself at the distance to throw that out, to make space for that overhand left.
Quality work again from Saunders, the challenger. Undefeated in 22 fights.
And now he's buzzing again now, isn't he, Billy Joe? Good back from Andy Lee there. Billy Joe just moving back, taking the sting out of the punches. I still think Billy Joe needs to throw more feints. Andy Lee's wound up so tight with that jab.
Lee yet to really land with too much by way of power shots. He may have had a couple, but that'll be it. and Saunders' chin has responded. He's taken what's been thrown at him so far.
Well, Andy, he's not been able to put his punches together at all. Just single jabs and a few single left hands. They've not been able to rattle off any combinations as yet.
Again, the utmost of respect between the two, respect of each other's power. If Lee didn't have it before, he certainly does now, having been down twice.
It's a good hook there again. Glance off the top of the head for Billy Joe.
Saunders happy not to engage in toe-to-toe action. Probably after a pretty tepid fourth round, probably doing enough.
Settles out. Down 6.
I think despite the bravado about early knockouts, I think probably Andy Lee always realised he'd be behind at this stage of the fight. He is doing. He's 3 points down, and Adam Booth saying now is the time to start putting some pressure on him. They know they're behind, and they've got to step it up.
I'm not sure if they thought they'd be behind after a knockdown, after 2 knockdowns, though, John.
No, well, that is true. Kind of changes the equation slightly, doesn't it?
I didn't think Billy would be so tentative. I thought he'd be buzzing around, rattling off combinations, being very hard to hit. But he's decided to stand in front of Andy Lee and just play a bit of a chess game with him.
Both these lads from gypsy backgrounds and proud of it. Pride of the community.
Looking very comfortable in there, though, at the moment, Billy Joe Saunders. He's the one with the front foot, putting a little bit of pressure on Andy Lee.
Nice jab from Saunders. Left hand only a glancing blow, maybe just as well for Lee.
Lee got to double up that jab. He got to step behind that jab, put some weight behind it, try and push Billy Joe back.
Nice body shot from Lee, solid right hand. Not been too many body shots, have there, so far?
No.
Both of them predominantly head hunting.
Yeah, I don't think either one of them has been able to get close enough to even think about working at the body. It's good from Lee there. I don't think Billy Joe will fall for the feints, but I think you've got to keep throwing them.
Well, that is very low. Surprised the referee didn't have a word there. Can only assume he didn't see it.
Good jab there from Billy Joe. And again.
You just know that something big is going to happen at any moment here. Can't blink because at some stage you know the big punches are going to start flying once more. Close round.
I couldn't split him, John. I don't think either one of them did enough to take the round, but to win the round.
Round 7.
Into the second half of the fight. Billy Joe Saunders, the younger man by 5 years, undefeated.
But it's not the classic we expected, that's for sure. But it's
Yet.
yeah, but it's poised, isn't it, all the time. You know, it's like the air of anticipation of something big's just about to happen.
It's engaging in its own way, Barry, because we've already seen what one big punch can do. Saunders has found two of them.
From the guy who's not meant to be the puncher, by the way. Oh, lovely from Billy Joe Saunders. Just great timing, that is.
Just speed from the challenger and balance. Great footwork.
Just making Andy Lee pay for a mistake. That was only a half a mistake. Just brought the jab back only to the shoulder. It wasn't even that low. Good response there, though, from Lee.
Lee trying to sucker him in, trying to get him into range, trying to get Saunders to walk onto something big. Saunders, you can see, being cute and again using good footwork, but that's a quality jab from Lee.
Fast hands again there from Billy Joe Saunders.
Footwork this time from Lee. Saunders only just missing with that big sweeping left hand. Saunders pretty much unmarked, just like swelling around the right eye of Andy Lee. It's a jab again from Saunders.
Again, neither one of them willing to, or able or willing to commit
A lot
to
more
anything more than a jab.
A lot more of a chess match of a fight than we'd anticipated.
It's going to have to be Andy Lee who commits himself, who bites down and goes for it.
Lee has somehow got to start winning rounds back. Good jab again from Saunders. Lee responding with a couple.
More proactive there from Andy Lee, jumping with the right hook. It was blocked.
And the overhand left was a miss as well. Very little between them. Difficult to score for the judges. Another couple of scoring shots though from Lee right on the bell.
I favoured Billy Joe, I think, for his better work early on.
I'm not so sure. One of those rounds could have gone either way, that one.
But there's nothing wrong, isn't it? Because no one's been
Barry gave it to Billy Joe Saunders, could easily have gone the other way. If Lee won that, the gap would be down to 2. Assuming the judges score it similarly. Few of these rounds have been very close. The all-important factor was round 3, when Lee was down twice. Lee trying to keep the pressure on again. Lee always thought he'd be coming on strong at this stage of the fight.
the problem is there for Lee is that it hasn't been that sort of fight. It hasn't been a grueling fight. He hasn't been able to make Billy Joe Saunders work hard. It's been an even pace which both will be quite comfortable with, except for Andy Lee. Obviously, being knocked down twice, that takes a lot out of you physically.
He's recovered well when you bear in mind that's a good jab from Saunders. Has made a fine recovery, Lee, considering he looked on the point of being taken out in the third.
That's no shock, though, was it, with Andy Lee? How many times have you done that before and come back? And come back to win as well.
Proper fighting man, away from the ring. Hear him speak, engage him in conversation. You'd hardly believe he was a fighter. Snappy dresser, articulate man, gentleman. In the ring, different story.
Yeah. I tell you something though, Billy Joe Saunders is an absolute nightmare to box against. He makes you miss by inches. You almost think you're going to land with the shot. He just little movement of the head. Very frustrating to fight against. Very clever.
And as we've seen, he's demonstrated quite ably Maybe underrated punching power as well.
Well, more than punching power, it was the delivery of the shot. You know, good technique, good timing.
Crowd a bit subdued, anticipating fireworks.
They just cancel each other out, don't they? Jab for jab. It's horrible for both fighters, because when it's like this and they jab for jab and nothing really happening, one half a mistake, someone lands with one half decent shot and that wins them the round.
Neither of them are prepared to get into the pocket, as they say, to get into the chest of the other man. Not at this stage. It's all about boxing and tactics at range.
For me, though, I think Andy Lee got to put that left hand on his chin nice and tight, double up the jab and push himself forward.
Saunders just forcing Lee back in the closing stages of that round. Another tight one.
It is another tight one. You know, their hand split 10-10 round, but I think just Billy Joe.
Into the 9th round, Barry Jones alongside me here at the Manchester Arena has Billy Joe Saunders in a sizable points lead, but a few of those rounds have been very close, and it could well be that it's very much closer on the 3 judges' cards.
Well, look at that last round, John. That was literally a nothing round. You had to score a 10-10. I just think with Billy Joe landing a light combination at the end, it was probably enough that the judges would be swayed his way. But there's nothing in these rounds at all, because not so much that they're hard fought or something in them, it's because nobody's really doing enough to want to grab it by the scruff of the neck. And rightly so, because they know either one makes a mistake and they get put on their backside.
Saunders' footwork still good, keeping him away from the danger punches. Lee perhaps just outworking him a little bit with the jab. Certainly thrown more over the last 2 or 3 rounds, albeit that a lot of them have been taken on the high-held gloves of Saunders. Good footwork from Lee this time. Saunders being made to fall short of the target.
Lovely jab there from Andy Lee. Real snappy punch.
Lee, just a sense that he's getting into a bit of a rhythm here. Still looking for that big right hand. That's a big left hand from Lee. His best punch for some time. Kidology from Saunders. He knows that he felt it. Lee has got a smile on his face.
This is where Saunders got to keep his calm, though. Got to keep in that game plan. Not want to retaliate and leave himself open.
Well, will he try to retaliate? Best shot that Lee's thrown for some time. Lee looking for the big shot, left hand cocked.
Good jab again there from Andy Lee.
Boxing nicely now,
Yeah,
Lee. He's into a bit of a rhythm.
Oh, both landing with solid jabs again.
The jab from Saunders.
He's setting up a hook there, Saunders. Looking to roll in, you can see by the way he's scrunching his shoulders up.
But Lee cute to it, and the most meaningful punch of the round, and the bulk of the jabs have been landed by the champion.
Just not doing enough, Billy Joe Saunders, and Lee being able to dictate with the jab in most of that round.
That's a Lee round. There's the left hand. Saunders took it well, and then the little bit of showboating to say, yeah, you might have caught me, but you've not hurt me. champion Andy Lee needs to take them all. Some of them have been very close, though. Maybe it's closer than we have it here at ringside. Barry has it by a 4-point margin. I've got it a little bit closer.
Billy trying to push the fight there. Has to take a body shot off Andy Lee. Oh, good right hook there from Billy Joe Saunders. Andy Lee needing to target the body a little bit more for me.
Key rounds these. Lee needs a big finish to this fight if he's going to hang on to his title. Lee said in one of his interviews before this fight he'd never lose it on points. Still some way to go, and the footwork is getting a little bit less flashy from both men, and more punches now connecting.
Good with the jab there from Billy Joe just a second ago, jabbing the head into the body.
A jab from Saunders, and then back came Lee with a right hand of his own. Two of them, both landing with right hands. Fascinating rather than a classic. Kind of drama that sucks you in.
Again, it's, you know, I'm just heading towards Billy being a little bit busier maybe, but only takes his one decent punch from either one to guarantee who gets the win. The rounds are so close.
And there's always the old adage, I know some people don't like to hear it, but there is the old adage, you have to take the title from the champion. Is Saunders doing enough, apart from that third round, to have done that? Doubling up nicely with the jab. Lee, though, backpedaling, riding it and responding with a couple of his own. Another round which so difficult to make a decisive call one way or the other which way it went. Former world cruiserweight champion sitting just behind me, Glenn McCrory, has got Billy Joe Saunders ahead. But I suspect from the look he gave me, not by a lot and not with a great degree of confidence. Could still be absolutely up for grabs in these last two rounds. Could still have a knockout, you never know. Will Saunders decide that he's got to go for broke?
Good jab there from Lee again.
Would Lee do similarly? Well, there's a suggestion that he might be trying to, aiming the big left hand.
Got to come back with that right hook though, Andy Lee, when he throws that left hand though. Good jab there from Saunders.
Both of them planting their feet a little bit more now, as though both of them ready to deliver power shots. Lee feinting to throw the big left hand, not doing so. There's a good counter though from Lee. Good right hand. And a couple of decent jabs from the champion as well.
And at last, doubling that jabber. Needs to do that more.
So wary of throwing the big left hand, Lee, mindful of the fact that he was dumped on the seat of his pants twice in the third.
That's better from Saunders as well. Just keep rolling that head. Get a little bit lower for Billy Joe.
Three-point margin for Saunders. Barry Jones has it at this point. One round to go after this. Good left hand from Lee.
That's his best punch of the fight.
Lee coming on stronger in this 11th.
And these tight rounds, unless Billy Joe can respond with something equally as good.
Good right hand from Saunders.
But then a right hook back there from Lee.
Quality jab again from Lee, who's just outworked Saunders a bit, apart from that solid left hand that he landed. This has been another Lee round.
Yeah, it's been a good round for Lee.
Round for Andy Lee.
Doing nothing to make him look old.
Last round then. Are we going to see some real fireworks now from either man here? Surely they've both of them got to go to it and try to win this last round to make sure. It's been such a tight fight, even bearing in mind that double knockdown for Saunders. The big punches are starting to be let loose now.
This is where Billy Joe Saunders got to use his boxing skills, and he's going to want to get engaged again in a firefight. Draw him in, take the half a step back, and then counter.
Left hand was only just off the mark there from Lee. Saunders saw it coming, swayed back out of range, and again.
But he can't just make him miss, Billy Joe Saunders. You got to make him pay as well when he misses. You got to throw punches back.
Lee's dominating the early stages of this final round. Only one is really throwing and trying to force it. Saunders makes him miss, but doesn't punish the error. Work, the Lee corner, bellowing to their man.
Like you said, Billy Joe's making him miss. From the back of the arena, I bet they think these shots are landing. Again, Billy Joe blocking that right hook. But like you said, John, he's not throwing punches back.
Jab from Saunders, but he's not landed any real power shots, genuine power shots in this last round. And it's Lee who's the man who looks as though he's bossing it. He's the one on the front foot, looking for the big one.
Better from Saunders. Not all of them landed, but he's having a go.
Crowd is roused. They sense that Lee is gambling now. A couple of body shots, we've not seen too many of those. Lee showing all his experience and champion's resolve in the closing stage of this final round.
Well, Saunders needs a massive finish to this last 30 seconds. Because Andy Lee's dominating this last round, really made a concerted effort here, Andy Lee.
Once again, coming down the stretch in the last few rounds, Saunders has been found a little bit wanting, and it is the champion Lee taking this last round, as he's probably taken the 2 or 3 prior to that.
To be fair, Saunders not taking nothing heavy.
2 of them celebrate, but that, for us, an Andy Lee round. it is going to be very, very close. Saunders being chaired aloft by Mark Tibbs, part of the father and son training team, and now also being chaired around the ring is Andy Lee. You wonder whether it could be a draw. Andy Lee had one in his last fight. It didn't turn out to be the classic that we anticipated. It was fascinating. Huge respect between the two guys, and so little between them.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was just they were too respectful. No one wanted to make a mistake, knowing they would be paid for any little mistake. And that was the case in point in the third round, where Andy just dipped a little bit to his left without his hands up. Billy rolled underneath, come back with a lovely right hook and dropped him. But after that big round, I still think I got Saunders winning by a round in the end. Andy done really well not to only come back from a devastating round, but to come back and win a few tight rounds. But a lot of these rounds I scored for Lee, I could have scored for Saunders, and a lot of the rounds I scored for Saunders, I could have scored for Lee. It was very, very tight.
Well, this is so agonising for the two fighters. Billy Joe Saunders with his promoter, Frank Warren, who's guided his career from word go, matching him up to the world title. Has he done enough, or has Andy Lee, his second defence now, has he done enough to hold on? On Barry's card, by the narrowest of margins, by 1 point, Billy Joe Saunders to take it. But so easily it could go the other way. The cards being tallied. Jimmy Lennon Jr. moving to the centre of the ring. It's going to be bitter disappointment, you sense, for one man. Great jubilation for the other, who has done enough. Well, we're ready now, I think. Jimmy Lennon Jr. now has got it in his hand. He's got the all-important piece of paper. Andy Lee thinks he's got it. Let's find out definitively, one way or the other. Here now, here's the result.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we go to the scorecards. Judge at ringside, Marcus McDonald, scores the bout 113 to 113, even a draw. Overruled by Judge Phil Edwards, who scores the bout 114 to 112, and Dave Paris, who sees it 115 to 111, in favor of the winner by majority decision, and the new WBO middleweight champion of the world, Billy Joe Saunders.
Saunders gets it, majority decision. One judge having it level, the other by 2 points, and the third judge a little bit wide, 115, 111. But the dream come true for Billy Joe Saunders.
And it really is, you know, it's just a lifetime dream for him. He was telling us all the time that he had too much for Andy Lee. It wasn't the fight we thought it was going to be. It wasn't a fast start from Billy Joe. It was a tentative start from him. But then what a third round there with those double knockdowns. And then Andy Lee, to his credit, came back into it a lot, made it very, very hard, very close. And I think you're right, John. A little bit too much respect that stopped this fight from being a classic, but an interesting fight and a new world champion.
Bitter disappointment for Andy Lee. He loses his title. The third round was all important. That would be a 10-7 round for Billy Joe Saunders. Had there not been those knockdowns, it would have gone the other way. But the new champion, England's Billy Joe Saunders.